What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week 2022. I'm Jason from HashKey, and joining with me is the man, the myth, the legend, Henri Arslanian, who right now is the co-founder and managing partner of 9 Blocks Capital Management. Well, welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week, Henri. How are you?
Thank you, Jason, for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So today is the first day of Hong Kong FinTech Week. How's your experience so far?
It's been great. I remember the first FinTech Week. Since the first issue that came up a couple of years ago on FinTech Week, I have to say it's gone bigger and bigger every year. And what I found amazing this year is, despite all the COVID restrictions, there's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. I've been following very closely some of the announcements this morning with regards to digital assets. But I think one thing is interesting is, despite the COVID restrictions, Hong Kong has still a lot of energy, and that's amazing to see.
Yeah, as mentioned by Mr. Paul Chan this morning, Hong Kong is back in business, right? And speaking about the announcement this morning, let's talk a little bit about that. So this morning, Hong Kong has pledged to kind of develop the city as a virtual asset hub. Now, you've been covering the Hong Kong scene, the crypto scene, since the very beginning, right? You've been the entire process of the regulation standards, how Hong Kong has evolved as a crypto hub. What does this news mean for Hong Kong?
It's a good question. I think we have to also think about the history of crypto in Hong Kong. So I've been very privileged. I've been in Hong Kong, in crypto in Hong Kong since 2014. So I've really seen the evolution of the ecosystem. I think we have to understand that historically, Hong Kong has played an outsized role in the crypto ecosystem. Some of the largest firms in crypto today were invented or were set up in Hong Kong originally. Now, many of them have left. Some of them will say that the regulations were not moving fast enough. Some would say that the city was not as welcoming as it used to be. The reality, I think, today, an announcement like today at least sends the right message that Hong Kong is open not only for business, but open to the crypto industry. Now, what I'm watching over the next couple of weeks and months is what are the practical, real, concrete policy and regulatory developments that will take place that will actually put some meat to the bones that were announced today. What form and how this meat will look like remains to be seen.
Now, over the past year, we've seen a huge exodus of talent and crypto firms out from Hong Kong, right? With this new direction that the Hong Kong government is pursuing, do we foresee a return of these companies back to Hong Kong? And do we see more crypto startups develop from Hong Kong?
I think it's a good question, but it depends. I think it's a bit too early to say, right? I think what I'll be watching over the next maybe 1 or 2 years is, first, what are the concrete policy and regulatory developments that will be put forward? And based on those, I think then the market will determine what is best. I think the reality is that keeping people here is easier than actually bringing people back, especially the market where you have other hubs, whether it's Singapore, whether it's in Dubai, whether it's in the Bahamas, whether it's any others, where really have specific legislation and regulatory frameworks made for crypto, and where they've been able to attract a lot of talent. So, will people come back? I don't know. Will new regulations stop more people from leaving? Hopefully. But I think overall, let's not forget that building a crypto hub is often built on a financial hub. And Hong Kong has the privilege of being a financial hub. So I think that's one of the big advantages that Hong Kong has, and that's not going to go away tomorrow morning. So that's a big positive.
Now, you were the global crypto leader at PwC for years. Now, in terms of institutional demand, right? I'm sure you're very knowledgeable in terms of this aspect. But right now, we're seeing more institutions getting involved into the crypto market. What do you think are the factors or the factor that prompts these companies take the leap of faith into this nascent market, Henri?
Yeah, I think so. There's two kinds of factors that I look at. Some of them are very specific. For example, regulatory clarity. Today, I would say that by and large, all the big financial centers have some kind of regulatory clarity. You may love it, you may hate it, but at least it's there. So that's being addressed. Second, I would say some of the ancillary requirements, like tax. It's very good that we have crypto regulations, but if you don't know how you're going to tax a crypto derivative, any profits or gains made on Bitcoin, for example, or any of the other altcoins, we need clarity on these, let alone elements like NFTs or staking or other topics like those. Then I would say that's obviously has a big role to play on what is going to attract institutional investors. What is, I would say, more important is really the maturity level of the industry, ensuring that the industry has proper risk management, has proper counterparty risk, has proper, on the retail side, suitability tests, disclosures. I think this kind of comes with the maturity of the industry. Some of the recent events that we've seen in the industry, from Triaros to Celsius, has shown us that often the emperor has no clothes. That a lot of these firms that we thought had proper risk management or counterparty risk didn't have so in practice. So I think this is some of the, I would say, the levels of institutionalization and maturity of the industry, which will be very important, not only for the crypto industry, but also I would say for a broader financial services industry to be more comfortable with crypto.
And going on top of that, what role do you think digital assets will play in the future of capital markets or the global finance infrastructure? What's the value of crypto in this?
Yeah, so I've been very privileged. I discovered Bitcoin in 2013, and I organized my first crypto event in 2014, and I've been full-time in the crypto space now since 2016, where obviously I started and led the team at the PwC. I'm obviously extremely bullish on the future of digital assets market, and very bullish on the upside potential that digital assets will have when it comes to broader financial markets, whether that's from an access perspective to people, whether it's basically making the whole middle back office obsolete or at least simplified. So I think there's a lot of elements there, but also I think some of the innovation that I can bring. DeFi is a very good example. I think it's going to take some time before institutional players get comfortable with DeFi. That being said, the kind of the intellectual and practical and innovative features that it brings are worth paying attention. And whether you like it or not, this will have an impact on traditional finance. So I think DeFi will have an impact on TradFi. NFTs will have an impact on broader Web 2 companies. And I think all this comes into the broader future of financial markets. What I'm watching right now, I think it's going to be what institutions are going to move forward. And I think what can hold us back are some black swan events. Not only are there big failures like we've had, but let's say maybe some big AML violations, compliance violations that will put a stop for sure at more institutions entering the space.
Now, my final question is a lighthearted one. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you what's the most memorable moment of crypto for you over the past 5 years?
I've had many moments of crypto. I was very privileged seeing from the birth of Ethereum to seeing some of the big forks that took place. As I say, personally, a big moment happened this year when the merge happened with Ethereum. I mean, whether you're an Ethereum fan or not, seeing an asset that is $200 billion literally flawlessly migrate from proof of work to proof of stake, for me was a great achievement. And I think it's something that we're going to think back and look back in the years to come and say, wow, that was a really milestone that happened in the crypto space. I remember in the early days of crypto, we would get very excited when a bank would talk about crypto or a CEO would mention the word Bitcoin. We would all get excited, talk about it.
It's everywhere, right?
Now, I mean, obviously, it's happening every day, everywhere. I think there's no doubt, not only crypto is here to stay, but I would say that the future of digital assets is very, very positive. And I feel privileged, and I really thank life every day that I have the privilege of being in this industry, working with amazing people that are not only doing this as a job, but are genuinely passionate about building the future of finance and building the next, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. And I think that's a privilege in anybody's career.
Great. Well, sure. Well, thank you so much, Henry. It was such a pleasure talking to you. Really appreciate it. Well,
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having us.
We'll catch you up again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.